We are absolutely at a breaking point, beyond a breaking point, and the finger pointing is over. I mean, it's always somebody else's fault. The first step to getting out of a hole is stop digging.
The border crisis exploding. Migrants flooding into the U.S. at a staggering rate, draining resources and morale. Instead of spending the holidays at home with their families, Border Patrol agents will face scenes like this, processing those entering the country illegally with no slowdown in sight. Good morning and welcome to America's Newsroom. I'm Brett Baer. Bill and Dana have some much-needed time off. Good morning, Jillian.
Good to be with you, Brett. I'm Jillian Turner in Washington. Well, U.S. Border Patrol now is vastly outnumbered with about 200 would-be illegal migrants to each single agent on the ground there. Southern border governors say it is not at all clear President Biden has actually seen what is happening on his watch. Take a listen.
Has President Biden seen photos and videos from the past week of the sea of people crossing into this country illegally? I understand he's probably been briefed on it, but has he seen photos and videos of it actually happening?
I can't attest to what the content is of the material he gets every day, but he has been kept apprised and briefed, of course, by the domestic and national security teams on this. But what's in that content? I mean, I'm not part of those discussions.
We got Fox team coverage on this story for you. Former acting ICE Director Tom Homan is standing by. First, though, we go to Bill Malugin. He's at the border in Lukeville, Arizona this morning. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Jillian, good morning to you. Some brand new numbers. CBP sources telling me that we have had about 45,000 migrant encounters at our southern border just since Monday. That means we could essentially fill up Yankee Stadium in just 4 days. And we'll give you a live look at the situation here in Lukeville. It is pouring rain out here. It's been pouring rain all night, but that has not stopped the mass illegal crossings. This is the Lukeville port of entry, which has been closed down for weeks now because of what's happening out here. You can see hundreds of illegal immigrants being processed by Border Patrol here underneath the port of entry after they crossed illegally. Many of them being handed out those Mylar blankets because it's cold and it is very rainy out here. And we'll show you how nonstop it has been. Take a look at this video our team shot yesterday here in Lukeville. Some of the most stunning footage we've shot out here. A single massive group of well over 700 people who crossed illegally through a breach in the border wall yesterday. And as usual, they are coming in from all over the world. We had a lot of adult men from Africa. As you mentioned, Jillian, the agent ratio out here has gotten so bad, upwards of 1 agent per 200 migrants. So we had a chance to talk to some guys from Ecuador who crossed illegally. They said they're here to work and they are going to sanctuary cities. Take a listen.
¿De dónde son?
Ecuador.
¿Todos de Ecuador? ¿Y por qué están aquí? ¿Quieren trabajar?
Sí, porque tenemos ganas de trabajar.
Todos queremos trabajar. Está muy peligroso Ecuador.
Tenemos inseguridad en todos los sentidos. No hay control en el país.
¿Y a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Pensilvania.
Pennsylvania.
Nueva York.
New York.
Chicago.
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 And as you take a look at this video from Eagle Pass, the numbers have been unprecedented this week. Remember, on Monday, we had the highest single day ever recorded of migrant encounters with more than 12,600. It has been absolutely nonstop. Agents are completely overwhelmed, and the Border Patrol Union says more agents than ever are going to have to be working on this holiday, this Christmas holiday, leaving their families because of these mass illegal crossings. The Border Patrol Union telling Fox News in part, quote, "While our agents are more than willing to sacrifice the holidays to protect fellow Americans, that is not what they will be doing. They will be processing the illegal border crossers for release into the U.S., while large parts of the border will be left wide open to exploitation by organized crime. These will not be happy holidays for the hardworking men and women of the Border Patrol." And back out here live, I'll step out again. That is exactly what they're doing right now. These agents are processing these migrants. There's only a few of them here for about 200 illegal immigrants. And we have seen the frustration out here in recent days, guys. We'll see these huge mass groups cross. Border Patrol will spend hours processing. They'll finally get the group done. They'll take a little breath, and then they look up, and there's a group of like 600 or 700 showing up, and you just see their heads kind of go down and the frustration build. They signed up to patrol the border. Right now, they feel they are social workers, essentially just processing for release. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Bill, stay close. We'll come back to you throughout the show this morning. Thank you. Brett?
For more on the border crisis, former acting ICE Director Tom Homan. Tom, good morning. Thanks for being here. You know, these numbers that Bill is talking about are just staggering. I know you've heard them, you've dealt with them, but in December, if you look at the fiscal year 2021, 2022, 2023, look at these numbers. 235,173 in fiscal year 23 compared to those past 3 years. That is staggering. And how do you put, that to words?
Well, there's two things. First, Brett, we're on a glide path right now for December. December may be the highest month ever recorded. We're on a glide path to that number right now. And we're 3 years into administration. There's two things that really concern me. Number one is that there are certain sectors on the southern border now where there isn't a single Border Patrol agent on patrol. They're all processing. Several sectors brought every agent into the processing facility to process, which means their national security mission has been put aside. That's going to mean more fentanyl getting across the border, more bad people, more sex trafficking women and children, those that don't want to be caught. The second thing is I talked to several agents last week in Texas. They are so busy processing, and they've been in such a push to process quickly and release quickly, they're not doing investigative interviews. They're not going through pocket trash to find out who they're paying, how they got here. They're not doing deep dives into who these people are, because many of these people will lose their passports, throw their passports away before they get to the border. So the Border Patrol's got to take their word for who they are and where they came from. And this has caused a whole new national security crisis. So because of the surge, the job isn't being done, and this country's at great risk because we don't know who these people are. We don't have time to deep dive into an investigation.
Well, to your point, the other graphic I wanted to put up is the terror watch list numbers. And just over the past 3 years, there's more than 200 that we've seen on the terror watch list. And part of that is this screening that you're talking about.
Yeah, because each Border Patrol agent is trained very well how to recognize when someone's lying to them and to look at, like I said, back when I was an agent, look at the pocket trash, look at the information in their pockets and try to make sense of it. And terrorist screening database is only as good as the data we have. For instance, there are a lot of terrorists in this world that have no record unless they've been captured in a criminal investigation or a Title III wiretap, or unless they were encountered on the battlefield by a soldier. There's no record of them. So, that's why we need an investigative interview, which is not being done. So there are thousands of people entering this country that come from countries that sponsor terror. 171 countries. And some of these countries sponsor terror. And as you said, 227 just on the southern border last fiscal year. At the same time, 432 on the northern border. Again, I've said 1,000 times, this is the biggest national security failure I've seen since 9/11.
We're talking about almost 12,000 a day now, and just in the past couple of weeks. Jay Johnson, former Homeland Security Secretary, said if he saw 1,000 coming across a day, it was a bad day. How much, Tom, quickly, would the Remain in Mexico policy that this administration kind of put aside, if it was still in place, would deal with this effectively, at least at some point?
Well, first of all, you're exactly right. Jay Johnson, respect the man greatly. 1,000 a day. We all got called into this office, want to know what we're doing about it. But, I think what's happening here on the Remain in Mexico program is a game changer in the Trump administration. And look, the highest courts in the land have said it's legal. If they would put the Remain in Mexico program back in tomorrow, this would be a game changer for this administration. People would still claim asylum. They're just going to wait in Mexico for the hearing. It worked for the Trump administration. People stopped coming. People stopped selling everything they had to pay the cartels only to come to the country and be removed. So it was a game changer, and I've said it for a year and a half. Put it back in place. Secure the border and do your job. It makes sense, and we've proven it's effective.
Tom Homan, former acting ICE Director. Tom, we really appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming on.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.